announcements before we begin. I'm going to ask friends to check their cell phones, make sure they're either on silent or turned off totally. Okay. Secondly, like you talked to the rabbi, if someone lost a silver loop earring, I have a match. I'm going to ask those with the ribbon to come forward.
Baruch Dayan Hamet, we praise the Judge of Truth. Fancy schmancy cell phone. Just put it to do not disturb or set it to stun or something. It happens every service. You think, oh, nobody's going to call me here. They don't know you're here. You know you're here. So please just turn it off or set it to stun so it vibrates or whatever. Unless it's Kevin calling, and then in that case, even if the phone's off, it'll still come through. Baruch Dayan Hamet. We begin with Psalm 121, a favorite psalm for anybody who loves the outdoors. Asai einai el haharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai, aseh shemayim va'aretz. Al yitein namot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzarcha ad yad minecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yarech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzedcha uvoecha me'ata ve'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. The Lord will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. And together let us recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We have many family members wishing to eulogize Kevin, and so we begin with Billy and Kim. Just take your time.
You know, not everyone's lucky enough to speak with their loved ones before they pass. But, you know, Dad did convey his wishes to me, and one of the first things he said to me was he didn't want me to come up here and give a eulogy where he'd lie, where we lie and say everything was all perfect, daisies and rainbows. Because with Kevin, he wasn't perfect, and it wasn't always daisies and rainbows. And our dad was a rebel. Slick back hair tattooed on the arm, cut off T-shirt, riding his motorcycles, and legend still has it he rode his motorcycle through Heights High and got suspended. When he was 17, he was kicked out of his house, and he had to couch surf with his friends from friend's house to friend's house. And 48 years later, some of those friends are still here. And even though he was a rebel, it should go to show that those friends were here, and means he was a great friend and had an even greater heart. One of my very first vivid memories of my father, he took me sledding at Euclid Creek Reservation, and we were driving, and we saw a homeless man under the bridge, and I didn't think anything else of it. And later I convinced him, and I'm sure I annoyed him, to take me to McDonald's. And we were at McDonald's, and in walked that same homeless man. And the man just sat down, didn't say anything to anybody. And just like Kevin, he would strike up a conversation with anybody. And we noticed that the man had shoes that had holes in it and a jacket that was tattered. So my dad went to the van and got his extra boots, socks, and quite literally gave this man the jacket off of his back. My dad wasn't perfect, but he set a good example of what a good man is. And that's one of my very first memories of my father.
Okay, y'all, I got a lot of words to say, so bear with me. It's confusing to get up here and talk to you all. Can you hear me? Okay. It's hard to pick what to say because we had a lot of memories together. There's a lot of playful ones and fun ones and educational because Dad knew a lot of things about a lot of things. We had difficult times and many inexplicable, loving memories with my dad. So I'm going to share memories with you all, which shows the person he was and how much he influenced who I've grown into and will continue to grow into. Dad was one of the most resilient humans I've ever met, sometimes begrudgingly so. He had a big will to live and experience life, even up to the last weeks. Years ago, when Dad had his heart surgery, he decided he wanted to go backpacking with me and Billy 6 months later. We were terrified. It was my first time going backpacking, and I didn't have the right gear, so he took me shopping. And some of you know that he loved his quality gear. Like, he would want you to buy something that lasted 20 years. He insisted on me getting Merrill hiking boots, wouldn't let me look at anything else because they were ready to wear and they lasted a long time. And he was right, because the boots I'm wearing today are the only shoes I've ever backpacked with, and they've lasted me almost 10 years. One of my favorite parts of our relationship was our ability to laugh together about dumb or little things and big things too. The second backpacking trip I went on with Dad, we only brought a 2-person tent, which if you've been backpacking, you know it's really, really small. And it was nice because we would cuddle all night, and it was really nice for the really cold nights. And one night we were getting ready for bed, and we would sleep head to toe because that's how we could only fit in that tent. And as we're falling asleep, Dad's butt was right by my face, and he farted right in my mouth. And I looked at him and I was like, Dad, I'm eating your farts. And we just laughed and laughed, and we were pretty much crying. Dad loved to tinker with things. You could see it around the house through all of his pulley systems and his gear, and even in his car with a couple things. Some things are too shiny for him. You know, there's a lot of things. Nothing was perfect for Dad, but he would make sure it was. And as many of you know, he made a windshield wiper for a motorcycle. I mean, who the heck thinks of that, right? Billy and I both learned how to MacGyver a lot of things just to make them work like we all wanted. If you were lucky enough, you also got to hear that silly, goofy, throaty laugh that my dad would get when he thought something was silly or he thought something was cool. And his voice would get a little higher, and there would be that laugh and that excitement that came through. I love the little things that we did together and Dad's excitement for different things he loved, like flying his planes or looking at architecture around weird Mexico buildings that were resorts that weren't really that cool. They didn't look cool to me yet. Or playing guitar. When I would stay with him, we would watch videos together about amazing guitarists for hours. And I have so many memories of laying in his room on his floor while he played guitar. His voice was beautiful and unique. And we'd sing together, and I'd listen when he relearned some of his songs by saying, fuck. I don't remember that. But then he would get it because he was determined. When I moved out west, he was nothing but supportive, talking about the mountains together. He was a big reason I moved, so I could explore nature and connect others with nature as children, just like he did with me and Billy growing up, and all through my adult life. From camping as kids, exploring streams in PA, to watching the bats come out in Mexico during sunsets. I will cherish the memories we spent together and all of the beauty that surrounded us. And he sure did love his people. He made friends everywhere he went, from his lifelong friends to an artist that played in New Orleans, to a hostel owner in Virginia, to staff that worked at small diners all around the country. He talked to many people daily or monthly or throughout the year, and he was consistent. I'm even still friends with some of the people on Facebook that we met together across the world, like staff at Mexican resorts. People loved him too, and we see that here today. I've got a couple more. Bear with me. I was laughing this week with family because I thought of all the parties and gatherings we had growing up. Dad hated preparing for the parties, but once they started, he was the one having the most fun. I love to think of him getting wild with his friends and family during the 4th of July parties. We would buy thousands of dollars worth of fireworks. And I remember him and his friends hooting and hollering as they set off fireworks. And as we sat, not close, but not that close.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. And we would feel like everything falling down on us. But then the next day, we'd all, as a family, we'd grit out the yard, and we'd pick up all the scraps, because Dad loved his perfect yard, but he didn't want to litter. It wasn't easy with my dad growing up. We didn't have a healthy relationship at times. I wasn't even the kindest to him at times, but as some of you know, when I was ready to have a relationship with him, he was right there and willing to work through all of the heavy and hard things to develop a beautiful relationship that eventually led him to being my best friend. I love that through hard times, he even had forgiveness in his heart. Dad was a caretaker for many friends and people in his life. He would often say how hard life is. And through all of the pain and suffering he endured, he still had such a strong will to live and to laugh and enjoy things. I hope that we can all think of that when times feel really heavy right now. And I know I'll miss him more than words can describe.
And to all of those words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen. Is Pootsie here? She's here. And then after Pootsie, Tracy and whichever other siblings want to come up and speak.
to the whole Zemel family. God bless you all. To those of you who don't know me, I was a friend of Kevin's for about 49 years. We made it almost to 50. And I love him very much. He's my brother. We have been blessed with the group of friends that we've had for the whole time. And we've lost a number of them along the way. And it's always hard. Our first friend that we lost was Joe Fanera. It was about 26 years ago. And I found this poem when I was looking for something to read at his funeral. And I have read it everyone since then. And please bear with me, because it is not easy. It's Requiem for a Friend, and the author is unknown. Friends come, friends go. The love men know are ever only fleeting. In song and smile a little while, we read their kindly greeting. With warmth and cheer, they linger near, the friends we fondly treasure. Then on a day, they drift away, a loss no words can measure. This much we know, friends come, friends go, as April's gladness passes. As sun and shade in swift parade, pink changes on meadow grasses. And though we grieve to see them leave, in thought we will enfold them. In memory's net we keep them yet, and thus can ever hold them. They come, they go, these loves we know. Life's tides are ever moving, but year on year they still seem near. So great the power of loving. Thank you.
I thought I could do this. My dear big brother, leader of the Zemel Zoo, I'm so heartbroken. We will miss your silly grin, your humor, and your large presence. Though Kevin was at times mischievous and a rebel, he was sweet and soft on the inside. He loved nature, babies, and animals. As many of us know, Kevin hiked the Appalachian Trail and sadly was unable to complete it because of declining health. We grew up camping in the woods of Pennsylvania at the Land, a very special place for our family. He talked in his sleep in the tent, put spiders in my hair, and tried to scare us by sneaking through the dark woods on our night hikes. Kevin had a very deep, unique voice that produced a phenomenon where no one could ever repeat anything he said without lowering their own voice to imitate him. He dearly loved his wife, Andy, his children, Kim and Bill, his nieces and nephews. He treasured and maintained many lifelong and childhood friendships. He was just a phone call away and made extra effort to attend weddings and graduations. My children loved him so. The Zemel siblings have always had a rare and precious bond. It will remain strong forever, even in death. Kevin is loved very much by so many and will be missed beyond measure. I can't imagine my life without him. Rest in peace and say hi to Dad. I love you.
You can't prepare for this because you just can't. Babies? He was the baby whisperer, screaming, crying babies. Hand them to Kevin, instant pacifier, instant baby smiles. Love, everything. His children, wife, mother, father, siblings, cousins, relatives, friends, nature, and animals. Oysters, Maryland blue crab, sushi, strawberry daiquiris, New Orleans hurricanes. If you know Kevin, a.k.a. Melvin, a.k.a. Boo, and me, Neil, a.k.a. Squid, a.k.a. Boo, as we've referred to each other, you know his unique low bass voice. Oh, yeah. Here's how our conversations would go. Sup, Boo? Sup, Boo? I don't know, Boo. Sup? I don't know, Boo. What's up? What you doing, Boo? What you doing, Boo? This ping pong match could go on and on and on. When it would end with, all right, later, Boo. All right, later, Boo. I will miss these in-depth and right to the point conversations. And I also know that this dialogue won't end here because his son, Bill, a.k.a. Billy Boo, motorcycles, right? There should be one named on the market, Melvin. He loved riding, the Blue Ridge tour guide he was. Didn't even need a map. Things to do and see brochures were a waste of paper and only used to start our campfires. Best camp spots, gas stations, groceries, restaurants, the best turnout, overlooks. Kevin was on a first name basis, including some contact numbers. Pete at the Mountain Inn View Motel, Gus at the Lakeview Diner. Rangers and camp hosts in the park, campground would tell me in his voice, Squid, pull into the gift shop so I can wish my senior friend a happy birthday. Deals Gap, North Carolina, Tail of the Dragon. Kevin and I, 318 curves and 11 miles. Giant loaded cruiser bikes with 15-foot cubic trailers overloaded on the back. Kevin, like at the end of a roller coaster ride, let's do it again. Hiking the AT Trail, Rockstar. He's like, I'm Rockstar. Rockstar was his trail name. He hiked all but a few hundred miles of it and documented on his wall on a wall map. He wanted me to do this with him from the beginning, so I went out and bought a backpack and all of the stuff that goes with it. I chickened out. It sounded like too much work for me. I still have my gear, brand new, but the return policy ran out 10 years ago. I should have joined him. Neat and organized Kevin was, right? Never heard him say, I can't find it. My whole life I've been trying to figure out how the storm missed Kevin's garage and scattered all the stuff around mine. Kevin, a great loving brother. I'm a handyman. Everybody kind of knows that. I can fix just about anything. Kevin would call me whenever he needed me. Help, something's broke. I always told him, I'm on my way, we'll fix it. And we fixed it. This last job, he really needed me on. I had to tell him, Boo, this one, It's out of my wheelhouse. I can't help you. I don't have the tools or the replacement part to do it. I love them. I love you. I already miss you.
And to all of those words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen. As a family talked about Kevin yesterday, Kevin Zemel, his Hebrew name is Baruch Tzvi. Baruch means blessed. Tzvi is a deer. There were times when he was agile, and then other times not so much. But as they spoke about him, it was a reminder of a great story in the Talmud. Kevin was an into nature, God is everywhere kind of a Jew. Not an organized religion kind of a Jew, but truth be told, congregations really aren't that organized. He was a spiritual Jew, and he was a proud Jew, a guy who could fix anything mechanical Jew, a guy with a good sense of humor who made friends wherever he went. He was a wandering Jew and a traveling Jew. As long as he and Andy could hop on the motorcycle for a nice long ride after their wedding, they did that, and other times as well. Relationships were important to him. Not only did he love animals and babies, there's his dog Petey, and keeping up with people was a hallmark characteristic of his personality. Now back to the Talmudic tale, which is a reminder of Kevin. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka, in the 2nd century, this is a saintly rabbi who constantly pondered the great mysteries of life and the inscrutable secret of life beyond the grave. And one day, as Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka was walking through the town market, he was engrossed in his ponderings, and he came into direct spiritual communication with Eliyahu Hanavi, with Elijah the prophet. Yes, this is the very same prophet we invite to the Passover Seder every year, fill a wine glass for him. This is the same prophet that will be the forerunner of the Messianic time on earth, a time when the world will be characterized by universal brotherhood and peace. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka asked Elijah, will any of these people in the market square, these ordinary people, share the bliss of the world to come after they and I have died? And Elijah pointed to 2 people who were entertaining the other people with their playfulness, it says in the Talmud. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka said, what? These simple performers are going to be my companions in the world to come? What merits do they possess? And Elijah answered, they have joyful, fun-loving spirits that brighten up the hearts of others. And as you spoke about Kevin, this is Ta'amit 22, page 22a. You can check it out. Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka said, they have fun-loving, joyful spirits that brighten up the hearts of others. And even in this profound sadness, this was him in so many ways. Baruch Tzvi. Baruch means blessed, which comes from the Hebrew word baracha, which means a blessing, and has the same meaning of Rabbi Baroka, which was a nice connection too. Entirely serendipitous, whose name also is based on the word for blessing. Another reminder of Kevin. As we spoke yesterday, I said, if you guys cover the waterfront, I'm just going to get up and say Amen. So you'll be happy if I do that, but this isn't really about you. So I'm going to say just a couple of things. They gave me a lot of names to say, and you don't leave people out by accident. You leave them out on purpose. So I'm going to try very hard not to leave anybody out. We have family and friends. He was born July 29th, 1958 here in Cleveland. His parents, his father Herman of blessed memory, his mother Helene, who in some way maybe knows what's going on here, but it's a difficulty for the family as well. Siblings, Michelle, and Kevin was number 2, Tracy, Neil, Glenn. Glenn's wife, Ginny. Also a sibling, an extra sibling, so to speak, for the family. Been with the family for many, many years, Robin. Now, nieces and nephews. Michael, Hannah, Michael, Sarah, Mark, Shane, Ryan. So Michael and his fiancée, Valerie. If she knows she's a fiancée, she knows now. Shane, Sylvia, Ryan, Abigail. And then nieces and nephews on Andy's side. We have Isaac and Rebecca, Ben and Roxanne, Lee, Jacob, Max, Kayla, and also Andy's dear brother, David likes to fish, and the children, of course. All right, Billy and Kim, and fiance Samo. Is that everybody? Yeah, all right. And then Andy, of course. They were married 25 years ago. Beautiful thing about this, I don't remember our anniversary, she said. But I know that I loved him, and we were married 25 years, and after we got married, we got a Honda Gold Wing motorcycle, and we rode out west for a few weeks. He's battled many medical and physical challenges, some of them self-inflicted, some of them just in the course of life. Strong personality, stubborn. If he loved you, and you loved him. And he just kept going. And early Friday morning, he breathed his last. And now there's just rest and wholeness and peace. Just as Shabbat is a time of rest and wholeness and peace, so too for Baruch Tzvi. For Kevin, it's a time of rest and wholeness and peace. His soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of his dear relatives, family, and friends, and the ancestors of our people. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7, we learn the dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. We will go to the cemetery soon. We will inter his remains, and over the course of time, goes back to nature, goes back to the earth. The soul returns to God. Judaism talks about life after death as a life which is called Olam Haba, the world to come, and it's a spiritual existence. It's not a physical existence, it's a spiritual existence. Your soul will be together with his. When your time comes, your souls will be together. God takes good care of the souls of our loved ones. The family is allowing us to send along an old prayer book and an old Passover Haggadah with him in the casket. It's a mitzvah to escort the body of our loved one to its final resting place, and also to provide respectful burial for holy books of our tradition. We're sending a Haggadah in particular because, as you know, Pesach is the time when we recall and we give thanks for our ancient liberation from Egyptian slavery. And we are free today because of God's deliverance those many, many years ago. And then our ancestors slept through the wilderness for all that time. They could have used him to help build the tabernacle, I'm sure. However, they slept through the wilderness, but we're sending a Haggadah because of God's deliverance those many, many years ago, and now your dear Kevin has been liberated from any sort of illness or deterioration or pain. You have many, many memories of him, and we give thanks to God for this gift of life. Be kinder and help other people. And let us do this in his loving memory. We conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, v'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And let us say, Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru yimru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, upon the soul of Kevin Zemel, Baruch Tzvi, and let us say Amen. Please rise for the El Maleh Rachamim prayer. After El Maleh, we will go in procession to Zion Cemetery. We'll say Kaddish for the first time at the grave, and then the family is going to be back at 3771 Meadowbrook Road for the day for Shiva. And we'll say Kaddish for him at the house, and then we'll say Kaddish for him at Temple Israel Ner Tamid, the kids in religious school. We'll be saying Kaddish for Kevin for a month on Sunday mornings and Wednesday afternoons and every Friday night, whether any family members are able to attend or not. It'll be our privilege to recite Kaddish for him. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of Kevin Zemel, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are with us, O God, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim U'Tohorim, Kezohar HaRakia Mazirim, Et Nishmat Baruch Tzvi, Shalach L'Olamo, Ba'al HaRachamim, Yastirehu B'Setzei Kenafav Le'olamim, Bayitzro B'Tzro HaChaim, Et Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nachalato, V'yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavo, V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Kevin Zemel, Baruch Tzvi. He has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace, and let us say, Amen.
Dragging the cards around.